it ended up we started talking about getting married, and eventually I made a couple trips to Minneapolis, and I decided in those trips going to Minneapolis that we would get married, and I asked her if she would marry me, and she said no. No, she said maybe.
Maybe.
And we talked a little more, and then she said yes.
Did you really say maybe? Like, that's a version I haven't actually heard.
So did you talk to
She didn't.
Mr. and Mrs. Lee at that point?
What?
Did you talk to Sherry's folks at that point?
Only Edna.
Only Edna.
I've had a lot of people ask me how come I didn't ask Canute for Sherry's hand, and I said we never did talk about it. I don't know why, but we never did talk about it. But Edna asked me a couple times what my plans were.
Well, that doesn't surprise anybody here that knew her.
What are your intentions? Are immediate intentions or not?
I'm surprised Mother would have been the one to ask me.
And looking for right here. She always did it with a smile. She wasn't, and it was never. Always made you feel good. Always made you feel like that she's for you. And this is not anything that was divisive or anything like that. She just had a smile and just wanted to know. So that's. So I think we were married after we decided to get married. We were married like maybe 6 months later. Is that right? About 6 months later.
Maybe, yeah, probably.
And it hit right at Christmas time.
It just so happened.
So it was kind of a mixed feeling that we had. You know, it's around Christmas time, so busy and everything. But let's do it anyway. And festive colors and all that sort of thing seemed to enter into the picture, and
Well, Sherry always did like red.
Yeah.
Al, tell the story about your living in Valley City and Sharon as a new bride cook.
This is before your time, Dave.
That's right.
Well, she got it together right.
I have no absolute problem, or I did not have any problems at all with Sherry's cooking. But
That's why they stay married.
That's a 50-year married man.
I did.
And that's how the fight started.
And then the fight began, yeah.
Somewhere in there, I got to use the nail-ice. And it really wasn't because of her cooking at all. It was because I had problems. I had a digestive problem. And I still
Rich, I
have.
didn't even take notes. This is really well done.
Boy, this is some serious revisionist history going on right now.
Zach, are you writing this down?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have the proof here to tell you that Sherry is a good cook.
That is true.
That
Yes.
is true. Love is biological. In many ways.
Do you want some more red or you can? Oh no.
here, Steve?
More?
Yes.
Next.
Who's next?
Actually, I was going to say, one of the things, Al, I really love about you is that you've got this connection with Papa that spans a gap. It's very interesting because obviously my grandfather, my dad's dad, your dad, Susan's dad, so there's a skewed perspective, and yet you had a relationship with him that I really enjoyed listening to because it was one of both a son-in-law, but in many respects you guys were very much, you had a much more equal relationship than I think a lot of son-in-laws have with their father-in-law. You both had military service, you both had a lot of similarities in your backgrounds, and so the stories that you've got are really...
Love to go hunting, bird hunting.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed, in the past few years, just listening to stories about Papa that I never knew. Things you go, oh, wow, that's really neat.
Yeah.
I found it interesting, I guess, that he told me that his father was an ordained preacher. And I told the rest of the family, and they didn't know. He said he was ordained.
So was his older brother, Stanton.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And he was a Lutheran.
Oh yeah, sure.
You know, Lutherans, right?
Lutheran.
Lutherans.
Well, I don't
And I
have a
think
story per
I think-
se. Go
What?
ahead. Go ahead,
Go
Uncle
ahead.
Al.
Go ahead.
I don't think I have a story necessarily. I just have several memories. One in particular that we're driving down in the car, and I'm explaining to Herrick what we're doing this evening, what his job is, talking about what you do with an 8-year-old, and I said, Cameron, Gordon, and Vivian are here, Erica and Uncle Cody, and Sherry and Al, and he goes, who? And I said, Sherry and Al, and he goes, who's Al? And I said, Sherry and Al, and he goes, we do not have a Sherry and Owl. And I said, okay, who are you talking about? He said, Sherry and Owl. And I said, it's Sherry and Al, A-L. And he goes, I don't know who that is. And I said, it's Sherry and Al. And he goes,
That's his name?
Owl.
Owl. And he said, it's O-W-L. It's Sherry and Owl.
I've always been all.
You've always been Owl.
Owl and the 48s.
Al and the
That's our new family band. Owl and the 48s.
We're going to name that book
Owl and the 48s.
The 48.
Yeah.
and let everybody figure out what it was.
Yep. I was telling Cameron tonight. Well,
You're gonna have Zach write it. That's what he's trying to write a book.
there you go.